We had an interesting experience recently. A senior executive at one of the major brokerages called us out of the blue and indicated that he was a long-standing client of a financial services operation and that they were considering disposing of a number of apartment buildings here in Los Angeles, which are highly marketable. But not unreasonably, the question was, they didn't question whether they could sell the properties at great executions, but what would they do with the proceeds, and how would they protect their tax position and their tax profile and kind of reset their real estate table. And it was interesting because we made a presentation and we discussed our 80,000 property database and how we go about our process of identifying properties that match up with the client's specific criteria, rather than simply saying, here's a property, do you want it, or take it or leave it. And our approach over many years now has been very effective, and particularly with the 1031 timetables, where we're able to say to someone, based on the criteria that you've either superimposed on the transaction or criteria that we've helped you develop, here's the real life version of the property, here's where we can get a good execution, and if you're going to narrow it down to 3 properties, here's a short list that you can start with right out of the box. And it was interesting because, not unreasonably, the new prospective client said, well, just send me everything you've got. We tried to go back and explain to them, well, we have 80,000 properties in theory to pick from. Let's try to fine tune this. Is the location important to you? Is it important to be in a tax-free state? How important is the tenant credit in terms of the potential default? How important is a true absolute triple net versus a double net, which many marketing and listing brokers masquerade as a triple net, when in fact there are some contingent liabilities for a buyer. It sounds great if you're representing the seller, but if you're representing the buyer, we have to look at these things very carefully to see if there's a roof warranty that would mitigate that double net situation where the buyer slash landlord is responsible for the roof and structure. So anyway, there are a series of criteria points. One of them, of course, is having enough term. We find that on occasion we go back and renegotiate and do a blend and extend with the tenant in order to get at least 10 years left on the remaining lease so that we can finance it effectively on behalf of the client. So there's a whole range of issues. So it's not simply a case of send me what you've got, which again, in all fairness, that's what a good listing broker does. Our approach is really quite different, and we get, frankly, different results. And because we try to, as correspondents with listing brokers, we try to qualify our buyers, we try to get their criteria squared away, so that when we make an offer, it's an offer we expect to close on. And this allows us to have better executions and more timely executions. And frankly, we can exploit the market even when we're at the tail end of this bubble market. We can still get the best value for our buyers. So if you're contemplating a transaction in the near future, please give us a call. We can provide you with a range of options, and our approach is to give you the global universe of net lease properties from which you can pick. And the sourcing of it is really irrelevant. The real question is, are we getting you the property that matches up with your criteria to get the best execution for you? So don't hesitate to call us. Thanks so much.